We are here with new story. It is about Jennifer Grey. During the late 1980s, the movie Dirty Dancing lit up theaters around the world with its electric chemistry, unforgettable music, and heart-pounding dance scenes. It quickly became a global sensation, turning Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze into household names. But while audiences were mesmerized by the romance they saw on screen, the reality behind the scenes was far more complicated. Especially during the filming of the famous Hungry Eyes montage, tensions were running high, and years later, Jennifer Grey would reveal a hidden truth about that time, a truth that cast the entire experience in a much darker light. Before Dirty Dancing, there was Red Dawn, an action-packed film set during the Cold War. It told the story of a group of high school students who become guerrilla fighters after the Soviet Union invades the United States. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze first worked together on that film. Patrick played Jed Eckert, a strong and commanding leader, while Jennifer played a smaller role as one of the young fighters. Behind the scenes, Red Dawn was intense, not just because of its demanding action scenes, but also because of the clashing personalities among the cast. Patrick Swayze, a trained dancer and former gymnast, threw himself into his role with military-like discipline. He stayed in character even between takes, taking everything very seriously. Jennifer Grey, on the other hand, approached acting with emotional openness and spontaneity. She found Patrick's constant intensity and macho behavior intimidating and exhausting. He loved to play pranks and joke around, but Jennifer often felt he went too far, disrupting serious moments and making it hard for her to stay in character. Their styles clashed badly, and Jennifer left Red Dawn hoping she would never have to work with Patrick Swayze again. However, fate had other plans. When the producers of Dirty Dancing were casting the film, Jennifer Grey was already chosen to play Francis Baby Houseman. But they still hadn't found the right actor to play Johnny Castle. Patrick Swayze's name came up, and while he had the dance experience and rugged charm they needed, Jennifer immediately felt uneasy about the idea of working with him again. She even expressed her reservations to the casting team, not hiding her discomfort. Still, the producers believed Swayze was perfect for the role and decided to call him in for a screen test. Before the screen test, something unexpected happened. Patrick Swayze pulled Jennifer aside and apologized. He looked her in the eyes and, with real emotion in his voice, told her he was sorry for how he had treated her in the past. Jennifer saw a vulnerability in him she hadn't seen before. Against her better judgment, she agreed to do the screen test with him. Once the camera started rolling, magic happened. Their chemistry was undeniable. The tension between them, instead of hurting their performance, made it even more electric. Their dynamic was so powerful and real that the producers instantly knew they had found their baby in Johnny. They were both cast, and a movie legend was born. However, just because the camera captured something beautiful didn't mean all was well behind the scenes. Once filming started in Lake Lure, North Carolina, old tensions resurfaced. The working conditions were brutal. It was hot, humid, and uncomfortable. The budget was tight, and everyone was under pressure. Cast and crew were often exhausted, and mistakes were costly. Patrick Swayze even injured his knee during filming, causing delays and adjustments to the schedule. Jennifer Grey still struggled with Patrick's unpredictable moods. Although there were moments of connection between them, the underlying friction never really disappeared. Patrick, with his background in professional dance, was a perfectionist. He knew every movement had to be precise. Jennifer, without formal dance training, was more instinctive and emotional in her performance. Their different approaches caused frustration on both sides. Many scenes had to be reshot over and over again because Jennifer would get the giggles or lose her rhythm. Patrick, already stressed by the demanding schedule, found it hard to stay patient. Crew members noticed that sometimes the two stars would barely speak before filming a scene, glaring at each other until the director called action. Yet once the cameras rolled, their real emotions, the tension, the nervousness, the attraction, created a spark that audiences felt deeply. It wasn't just about different working styles. Sometimes Patrick's intense approach crossed a line. During dance rehearsals, he would try to correct Jennifer's movements, taking control in ways that made her feel small and overshadowed. Jennifer didn't want to be just a dancer following his lead, She wanted to be an equal partner in creating their characters. Over time, she felt more and more isolated. Yet, ironically, all that real tension between them helped make the movie more authentic. When Baby looked nervous or hesitant around Johnny, it wasn't all acting. Much of it was real. The pressure between them fueled some of the film's most unforgettable moments. One of the most iconic scenes, the famous lift, nearly didn't happen the way audiences remember it. Jennifer was terrified of doing the lift. She refused to rehearse it because she was so afraid of being dropped. Patrick, coming from a dancer's mindset where rehearsal and repetition were everything, found this refusal incredibly frustrating. He believed they needed to practice to get it right. But Jennifer trusted adrenaline and emotion to get her through the scene. When the time came to film it, they did it in one take, powered by pure tension and adrenaline. Somehow, it worked, and the lift became one of the most beloved scenes in movie history. Still, by that point, the stress was overwhelming. During the filming of the Hungry Eyes montage, tensions between Jennifer and Patrick exploded behind the scenes. The montage looks light-hearted and romantic on screen, but off-camera it was anything but. Jennifer was emotionally fragile after weeks of tension and exhaustion. She struggled to get through the close, intimate moments that the scene required. Every time she hesitated or giggled, Patrick's frustration grew. He would mutter under his breath, roll his eyes, and sometimes even storm off set. Crew members tried to keep the peace, but it was clear things were falling apart. Jennifer Grey kept a lot of what happened to herself for years. Only later did she open up about how difficult the experience had been, revealing just how much tension, frustration, and emotional strain she had carried throughout the shoot. While the world fell in love with Baby and Johnny, behind the scenes, the reality was far messier and much more painful. Yet somehow, through all the behind-the-scenes struggles, Dirty Dancing captured something truly magical. The real emotions, the clashing personalities, the genuine awkwardness and chemistry, they all combined to create a love story that felt alive and unforgettable. It was a story built not just on the characters they played, but on the complicated, raw relationship between the two actors who brought them to life. During the dance rehearsals for Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey later shared that Patrick Swayze's gaze toward her was filled with disgust, not affection. She felt the coldness deeply, but at the time, she chose to keep silent. Speaking up might have risked not only the movie's success but also her own career. The production environment was already tense because of a tight schedule and limited budget, and Jennifer feared that if she complained, she would be seen as difficult to work with. So she buried her feelings and kept going, smiling and dancing through the discomfort. It wasn't until many years later, in a more recent interview, that Jennifer Grey openly revealed the pain she experienced during that time. She admitted plainly that it was bad, describing in heartbreaking detail how isolated and belittled she felt. She explained that the looks Patrick gave her during scenes that were supposed to be smoldering and romantic were, to her, filled with condescension and resentment. Despite the heavy emotional burden she carried silently, Jennifer masked it with bright smiles and lively choreography. Audiences never suspected anything was wrong. In fact, the montage featuring the two dancing became one of the most memorable and beloved parts of the film. It captured a kind of raw, electric tension that felt incredibly real to viewers. And in truth, it was real, but not in the way anyone imagined. The emotional intensity seen on screen wasn't just brilliant acting. It was the result of real frustration, restraint, and buried resentment. Jennifer Grey was struggling to keep her emotions in check, while Patrick Swayze battled his own growing irritation. Ironically, that very friction between them gave their scenes a sharp, crackling energy that helped make the film unforgettable. However, their conflict started worrying the filmmakers. The producers realized that if something wasn't done, the hostility between Jennifer and Patrick could threaten the success of the movie's crucial romantic scenes. To fix the situation, the film's writer Eleanor Bergstein and director Emile Ardolino made a bold decision. They sat Jennifer and Patrick down together and had them re-watch their initial screen tests, the ones where their chemistry had been undeniable. Seeing those early moments reminded them both of the magic they were capable of creating together. It worked. The two stars found a renewed energy and enthusiasm, just in time to complete the film. After they finished filming the final big dance scene, which included the iconic lift, the movie moved into post-production and prepared for its release. At that time, nobody could have predicted what would happen next. When Dirty Dancing was released in August 1987, expectations were low. It was a small-budget film with no major Hollywood stars and a simple love story set in the early 1960s. But something about it connected deeply with audiences. Word spread quickly, and within a few weeks, the movie became a huge hit. It ended up earning over $214 million worldwide. What started quietly turned into a massive cultural phenomenon. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze suddenly became global celebrities. People everywhere fell in love with Baby and Johnny, two people from different backgrounds who found love and passion through dance. The movie's soundtrack also became a huge success, selling millions of copies. Songs like I've Had the Time of My Life became anthems of the era, playing on radios across the world. The film even won an Academy Award for Best Original Song and a Golden Globe, firmly cementing its place as one of the most beloved movies of its time. But while fans celebrated the intense chemistry between Jennifer and Patrick, the painful truth behind those performances remained hidden for years. Jennifer later admitted that after the film's release, she had to work through a lot of complicated emotions. The experience of making Dirty Dancing had left real scars, the private hurts, the silent tensions, the emotional exhaustion, and those memories were hard to let go of. Yet, as time passed, she came to understand that those struggles also helped create the film's unique honesty. The rawness that audiences connected with wasn't just acting, it was real emotion captured on film.
Despite all the difficulties they faced during filming, both Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze later acknowledged the magic they had created together. As time softened old resentments, they even managed to reconnect. In 2004, they reunited for a Dirty Dancing documentary, where they reflected on their complicated history with a sense of mutual respect. Jennifer spoke kindly of Patrick's dedication and immense talent, while Patrick, before his death in 2009, praised Jennifer's emotional depth and growth as an actress. He even admitted that he had probably been too hard on her during the making of the film, hinting at a quiet understanding of the emotional wounds they had both carried. Dirty Dancing had a powerful and lasting impact on their careers. For Jennifer Grey, playing Baby became the defining role of her career, even though she continued to act in later years. She often talked about how challenging it was to move beyond the image of the innocent young woman people remembered from the movie. Patrick Swayze, on the other hand, went on to become a major star, appearing in other huge hits like Ghost and Point Break. But no matter how far their careers went, they were always remembered most vividly as Baby and Johnny. Looking back, Dirty Dancing became much more than just a movie. It was a powerful moment in time that captured the hearts of millions of people. Behind the beautiful dance moves, the tender love story, and the unforgettable music, there was a lot of unseen struggle and emotional hardship. One moment in particular symbolized both the beauty and the difficulty of the film's creation. A failed screen test that nearly caused the entire project to fall apart before it even started. Years later, director Emile Ardolino would express how grateful he was that he decided to overlook that rocky start and give Jennifer and Patrick a second chance. That decision led to one of the most cherished movies in Hollywood history, a legacy that remains strong even nearly 4 decades later. As Jennifer Grey reflected on everything that happened during and after the making of Dirty Dancing, she spoke with grace and honesty. Even though there were painful moments during filming, she ultimately came to appreciate the extraordinary thing they had built together. When Patrick Swayze was diagnosed with cancer, Jennifer reached out to him privately, and in later interviews, she described him as a rare and beautiful person, complicated, but kind. Her words showed how far she had come in understanding their relationship. What had once been a source of tension and hurt had transformed into something deeper, a recognition of the powerful connection they had shared. Patrick's passing in 2009 was deeply felt by Jennifer, and in the years that followed, she spoke more openly about the realities behind Dirty Dancing. Although she had once described him harshly, she now remembered him with admiration and gratitude, acknowledging that their intense relationship had given their performances a raw and unforgettable authenticity. Dirty Dancing remains one of the most iconic and loved films of all time, its story of forbidden love and passionate dancing resonating across generations. Even though the struggles behind the scenes are now part of its story, they also contributed to the movie's magic. Jennifer Grey's choice to hide her pain during filming allowed the genuine emotion to shine through on screen, helping audiences feel a real connection to the characters. The story of Dirty Dancing proves that when true emotions, Whether joy, sorrow, or anger are woven into a performance, they can create something timeless and unforgettable. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Like and subscribe our channel.